Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hi, my name's Jack. It's nice to meet you. Before you do watch this video, please give it a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers and we really need to get there. So yeah, don't forget to tap that button and enjoy the video. Today's video is going to be a slightly different one, probably a bit of a deeper video. I'm making this because I feel like I want to hold myself accountable in a way from what I'm going to talk about today and sort of my actions going forward, and hopefully just to educate some of you, hopefully inspire, and maybe even some of you could relate to sort of how I feel and what I've went through and my experiences. Now, if you have been watching my channel for a while, it's probably no surprise that you know that I do love a drink, I do love to party. I've always been like that. I feel like ever since I was able to start drinking, and I've always just like loved going out and partying, and that's been my life for so long, for the past 5 years or so. I feel like now I live alone, I'm starting to pick up on like my behaviours a lot more. I'm really noticing what I'm doing to myself and how I'm feeling and sort of the situations that I'm putting myself in, and it's took us quite a while to realise that I maybe do have a bit of an issue with binge drinking, and maybe I do need to do something about it. Binge drinking is known as a few things, one of them being heavy episodic drinking. It basically just means drinking alcohol with the intent to get absolutely mortal, basically, or heavily intoxicated. Just to give some context, so I started drinking, I want to say I started drinking when I was like 16, 17, and it wasn't like, we're not talking like vodka and stuff, it was like cider. You know, if you go to like a house party and your mum and dad get you some like cider or some beer from the shop to take, like 4 cans, nothing major. Like at the time I was like, oh my god, this is unreal. Like you drink it, you drink this thing and it just takes away like all of your feelings and you just feel so good about yourself, and it's just amazing, and it's a really big social thing to do. So that's where it all started for me, and I absolutely like loved that time in my life. I didn't do it as often. It was really every now and then, obviously because I was underage. Hey ho, like everyone, most people underage drink, to be honest. It's no shock. So then I got to 18, obviously I was legal and I could go out and I didn't really have anyone to answer to, and this was around about the time that I did actually move out of the family home and I did move to uni. For those of you who've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I did try university and it didn't really obviously go too well. But I did go and stay in student halls, and I would say that's where maybe like my addiction, my behaviour problem, my interest in alcohol became known. And I feel like it was just such a big time in my life where like I just moved out from home, I was meeting all these great people, like uni, freshers week. They're very big on like encouraging people to just drink and just get absolutely twatted basically, and like just live it up and do all sorts of things. And I was living that life, like that was me for a good year. And you would think like at the end of the year, like, oh, you would let it all out of your system, it would be done, dusted. Like I carried on. It wasn't something that like I was noticing at the time, but now looking back, like I would definitely say that that's where my behavioural pattern did start. I feel like with uni as well, it was definitely the pressure of like, oh, if I'm not going out, I feel like I'm being boring. So I was out like 3, 4, 5 times a week. Honestly, don't know where I got the money from, probably like the student loan, but I was just out like blowing money, drinking all the time. I wasn't even going to uni because like I literally just didn't care. Like partying was my life at that point, like that was my lifestyle. Just going out, drinking, like listening to music, dancing, like the whole culture of it, meeting people, like that was my life. After I decided to finish uni and just completely be done with it, I then went into full-time work, which obviously jobs can be stressful, so that starts the drinking off again. And at the time I worked in hospitality. When you work in hospitality, it is a very big drinking culture. So if you do finish work, you can go out for a drink, you can go out. I had the shift patterns where it was like, I would start work at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, I would finish work at around about 10 or 11. So I could go out, drink loads, and then come into work the next day hungover, but I wasn't in until 3 or 4 in the afternoon the day after. So that started the behavioural pattern again of going out, binge drinking, knowing that there wasn't really any consequence apart from like maybe having a sore head, but I knew I didn't have to be at work at like 8 in the morning, like a normal 9 to 5. So that definitely enabled the binge drinking a lot more, and I would say that's where it probably started to escalate. Then I was doing that for about 2 or 3 years, and then lockdown happened. Again, with lockdown, nobody knew what was happening, everyone was really anxious and didn't know how to sort of deal with lockdown, so I would, like, a lot of it was drinking, like even if it was a few beers on a night time, a glass of wine, like a bottle of wine. I was drinking in lockdown. I was drinking pretty much every night of the week. Like, that's how it was. Like, to be completely honest, I was drinking every night of the week. It's like if I didn't have, say, for a crate of beer in the flat at the time where I lived, or if I didn't have any other form of alcohol, like I felt like I couldn't settle. I couldn't just sit there and watch the telly or anything. Like, I had to have alcohol in the house, so I would go to the shop and I would buy it, and then it would just become like a continuous cycle of just buying alcohol just to sort of get me through the week, get me through the night. Like, I mean, this, like, big disclaimer, I wasn't, you know, waking up and having a drink. This was always like on a night time. It was never like waking up and having a drink like as your typical alcoholic would. I feel like with alcohol, everyone's different, so what you would consider an alcoholic may not be what someone else would consider an alcoholic. I would just say I was using and abusing alcohol, and ultimately it didn't really do anything good for my mental health. So I was doing that for a good year and a half that lockdown was happening for. Then I started a bit more of a traditional 9-5 job, where I was working in an office, which is where I'm at now, and I was doing that Monday to Friday, and then I would have the weekend off. Obviously, in the past jobs that I've been in, I've never had weekends off. It's always been hospitality work, which is all over the place. Like, you could do 6-hour shifts, you could do 12-hour shifts, but you would never have the weekend off because obviously that was the busiest time. Working in an office environment where, you know, you get through the week and then you have the weekend was very different for me. It was great. I thought, oh my god, amazing. Like, even now I do love it. I really do appreciate my weekends more, and I do definitely prefer it to how I was working in the past. Definitely mentally, I just feel like it fits my life quite well at where I'm at the minute. So that did definitely stop my drinking habits for a bit. So I got into the routine of, I started this job and I was like, look, like, I don't want to drink during the week. I only want to do it on a weekend, so then I can class that as a treat, which I think, do you know what it is? Totally fair enough. A lot of people are like that, you know, don't drink during the week, only drink on a weekend, which, yeah, fair enough. Like, I can't disagree with that. But then it was coming to the point where I was starting to drink during the week again because my job became really stressful. You go through phases with jobs, I feel like. Sometimes it can be really stressful, sometimes, you know, and you do look for other things to sort of de-stress. And I was just looking at the wrong things, and I feel like I do look at the wrong things for it. Like, if I've had a really stressful day at work, I want a bottle of wine. I don't just want a glass, I want a bottle. And that's just my, like, that's just my toxic behaviour habits. Like, that's just the way I'm programmed. So now it's just like this mentality of living for the weekend, can't wait for Friday, boom, 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 get me through the week, get me through the week. Then it gets to Friday and I just want to let loose. And I have a competition with myself to see how drunk I can get if I go out. Like, I know that's really, like, weird to say, but I do. Like, I feel that's how I feel in my head. Like, it's like, right, at the bar, let's just get shots, let's get loads of shots, like, let's just drink loads of, like, and then I'm just like, whoa, like, where does it come from? And it's like I'm letting off all this steam that I've been building up during the week, and it's all just coming to boom. It's just coming to light on a weekend, and I'm just, and I go back to work on a Monday morning, I'm like, what was that? Like, what kind of blip did I just go through? I feel like when I was in my early years of drinking, I was just going out to have fun, just to party, just to, like, let loose. Obviously now I'm a bit older, I'm 23, I'm really sitting down and I'm thinking, why am I going on still? And I do sort of feel like I'm at the point now, which is why I'm making this video, because I'm just sick of these behavioural habits, and I'm sick of feeling like shit and wondering why my mental health is in the air all the time, and I'm unmotivated and I don't feel great, and the hangovers and the anxiety is just really getting on top, and it really just makes you reevaluate why you're doing this to yourself. And it's almost as if, like, I keep doing it to myself and I keep putting myself through the same stuff every weekend, every time I do it, every time I go out. I keep pushing myself to the limit and I'm looking for a different result, but it's always ultimately going to be the same result each time. I also just want to make it clear as well, like, this binge drinking that I'm talking about, some people may think it's dramatic, some people may relate, I may agree. Like, for me, it's not just about, like, going out and getting so drunk. Like, I actually drink in the house as well, and it's not like, I'm not drinking like a bottle of wine a night or anything, but I have started, as well as drinking on the weekend, if I've had a stressful day at work, I'll come home and I'll have a glass of wine, might have another one, and then it'll go into a habit where I start to get in a routine with it. So say if I do that on a Monday, I'll come home on a Tuesday and I'm like, well, I've still got half the bottle left, so I may as well finish it off. And then I'll get to the Wednesday and it's like, oh well, I'm not having a drink tonight and I've got no wine in the fridge, so I may as well go and buy some, because then that'll last. And then it just carries on like that, and it's almost came to the point that I'm like relying on alcohol a little bit just to sort of make myself feel better, which we all know in the long run, like, alcohol isn't, it's a depressant at the end of the day. It's not going to do that. It's not going to make you feel good in the long run. It's not necessarily good for you. So I've started to develop this pattern, and I'm quite honestly like sick of it, and I don't want to keep doing it to myself, because I just wonder, like, I'm going to get stuck in this rut. And I have been in this rut for the past year, I would say, especially since I've like started living alone. I've not really got anyone who can tell us, yes, you can have a drink, no, you can have a drink, get out of bed, don't get out of bed. Like, I'm very much on my own terms and conditions. That's the way I like to say it. Like, I'm very independent in the way that I can just do whatever I want when I want. It can be quite toxic at times. Like, living alone is so empowering, I absolutely love it. But I would say, like, the behaviours that I'm picking up from it are really quite toxic for me. And I just don't want to be that person. Like, I really don't want to be that person. Like, to some people, like, these minuscule things like having a drink after work, like, may not seem like a big deal to most people, but when I'm developing a behaviour habit where I'm doing it most nights of the week and then on the weekend as well, like, I just don't want to do it, and I don't want to put myself through it. And I'm wondering to myself all the time, why am I feeling so low? Why am I not unmotivated? And it's because of the drink, it's because of the alcohol. And again, it's like I'm putting myself through it and I'm looking for a different result. Like, yeah, I might feel good on the night time, but then ultimately I'm feeling really low, really crap, really unmotivated for the rest of the week, and I can't pull myself out of it. Like, honestly guys, I can't actually describe to you like the anxiety that I feel for the next week after I've drank. Say if I've done like a really heavy night on like a Friday or a Saturday, I really feel it until the Thursday the following week. Like, the last time I went out was New Year's Eve, and it's now the 7th of January, and I've only just started to feel a little bit better from New Year's Eve. Like, that's nearly a full-on week that I've been really going through like these emotions, the anxiety. Like, what have I said to people? What have I done? Have I made myself look like a tit? I really go through it, and then I'm like, all the money I've spent when I could have like been investing that into something else. And what's funny for me, I've really took a step back and I've thought, I don't want to do this anymore. So for example, I work full time, so I work Monday to Friday, and that's a full-time job. And then I also do YouTube, which I'm not earning money from, but YouTube in itself is a full-time job. Say for I'm filming this video, by the time I actually film it and then edit it, I've got to make the thumbnail, then I've got to promote it on my social media so people actually watch. Like, this takes a good 10 to 12 hours of my life away each week if I do keep up with it. So say for if I go out on a Friday, if I haven't filmed during the week, my filming day is a Saturday. So if I go out on a Friday and I'm really hungover on the Saturday, there's no video coming out on a Sunday because I'm just so hungover and I just can't be bothered to do anything. Even though this is what I love doing, I'm just not putting myself first, and I'm not putting my priorities first either. So then that has a knock-on effect on my YouTube, and obviously this is what I enjoy and what I want to do. So I feel just at the minute like I'm just not winning with it. So because of the way I'm feeling at the moment, and you know, the behaviour habits that I've picked up, I have decided to make a change. So I am taking part in Dry January this year. I've got the app on my phone. So I'm on day 7 at the minute, which for me is quite good. Like, the reason I'm doing Dry January is to prove to myself that I don't need alcohol to relax, to suppress my emotions, to have a good time. I'm doing it so I can have a full detox, feel much better within myself. So my plan is to get to the end of these 30 days and then assess where I'm at. So I think maybe I'll do like a check-in on YouTube and just say how it went. Did I achieve the 30 days? Did I give in? And do you know what it is? Like, it's so weird because I don't feel like I've went 30 days without having a drink since I was probably like 17, 18 years old, which is crazy to think of. Like, I've just not done it. Like, my body needs a full detox. So hopefully it works and I do feel a lot better, and I will keep everyone updated. But yeah, I have decided to take part in Dry January. I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm not going to pressurise myself afterwards. If I want a drink, I'll have one. If I don't, I don't. But I do just really want to give myself a month to just detox, see where I'm at, and then go forward. It may be the case that I only drink on occasions, like birthdays, you know, like occasions where like I really do deserve it, like maybe just not every weekend and not during the week, like where it really isn't needed and it's not going to do anything for my mental health. Or I may decide to just become fully sober. Like, I don't know like where my sobriety journey is going to take me, but I'll definitely keep everyone updated, and it feels really good to just like finally let this out. Hopefully some of you can relate and some of you understand where I'm coming from on this and may feel the same. But yeah, I'm just not subjecting myself to like pressures of society anymore, pressures with friends, because I do feel like that has a big part in it. Like, alcohol is so heavily advertised, and you know, at this age I do get it, like what else is there to do but apart from drink? Like it is, I agree, I really do agree, I really do. Ultimately for me it's just this journey of finding something else. Putting my time into something else and investing more in me, which I started to do last year and I'm going to continue to do this year. So yeah, it feels really good to have let that out. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to see more chats like this. I will definitely keep you updated at the end of January how I've done, and I will do a check-in if you guys want to see that. But yeah, please let me know down below if you guys feel the same, or give me a message. My Instagram is IamJackWatson. If you want to follow me, give me a message if you do relate, or if you like my content, then please do give me a follow. Don't forget to press the subscribe button on this YouTube page. Let's get to 400 subscribers, and give the video a like if you have enjoyed it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening to my story, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.